Okay, I want to welcome everybody to the first episode of Speaking Truthfully, where that's exactly what we do. We speak the truth. There's going to be a lot of people and a lot of discussions on this podcast where we're not going to see eye to eye on everything. One person's views does not reflect everybody on this channel. But I got a very special guest in the house tonight, my brother from another. Mr. Frank White, aka Mr. Survival Man, aka Mr. Frank Don't Fuck for Free. How you feeling tonight, Frank?
I'm just tired, bro, but I'm blessed. How about you?
All yeah, man, I'm doing good, man. Just like you said, man, tired but blessed, right? So, why don't you give everybody a little sneak peek about who Frank is? Tell us where you from, all the good stuff about what makes you tick, sir.
Starting with where I'm from, right? And then the good stuff that makes me tick. All right. So you just had to bring me back. That's all. I'm from San Francisco, Bay Area. I got out of there. There's a culmination of things that happened why I left, but I got out of there when I was 24. Um, Me and my girl got robbed, and it made me want a gun and to get out of that area in general, to an area where there wasn't such congestion of people, and uh, it just made me want to move away. So we moved to Ukiah first, then we moved down to Central California, then we moved up to Dobbins, Oregon House, where you went to my house up there, and
Yep.
so we moved to Idaho, and we've been off grid there the whole time. I've been shitting in a bucket for about 7 months. No running water, no hot water heater. It was negative 15 last week, but you know what? It's the most quality time that I've had with Phoebe, being in that closed, confined space. You know,
Yeah.
Great.
No, definitely. And that's just a little sneak peek about what Frank goes through on a daily. That's why I call him AKA Mr. Survival Man, because he out there, no electricity, no running water, none of that. And he takes pride of that. He chooses to live like that. He chooses to, separate himself from I wouldn't necessarily say regular society, to make him sound like a crazy person, because he's definitely not, dude. He's one of the most sane people I've ever met in my life.
I was
Um,
like, sorry.
what? No, go ahead, man. Speak your truth.
I was saying, and I realized I cut you off, and I apologize. That was me.
Nah, man, you good. So tell the people a little bit about, like, what made you want to basically live off grid, and everything that living in the Bay Area did with your mental health, and everything that you know basically led up to the moment to where you were like, man, I got to get the fuck out of here.
Well, I didn't choose to live off grid. That's just kind of how it played out. If I had a choice, I would have running water, and I would have electricity that I could turn on a switch instead of having to fill up a generator with gasoline. And you know, there's all kind of problems with that thing. I've never had a generator. I just got it because we needed it there. We didn't have no power. $600 for one, so I can't just go buy a few of them. But it's taking a shit, so I got to figure out what the fuck is wrong with it. This is our only source of power up there. Um, Fuck, and that's like a big answer. This guy's headlights are hella bright. Um, everything, everything about how everything is when I really realized it. What I felt like when I was living in the Bay Area was you just go through the motions, basically. You don't necessarily choose them, you know? That's what I felt like for me. That was my situation. I was just working to keep my head above water, barely paying bills out there because shit's so expensive. Um, I just didn't feel like there was room for growth for me there to grow as a person. And, you know what I mean? I don't know. So, I mean, so the question was, what made me get into that? Like, anything you could think of, like going to the grocery store and the food is being controlled by Monsanto and only a few specific seed companies that are in control of all the shit, you know, and knowing the pesticides that they use, with them knowing what it'll do to us, cancer, all kind of shit like that. So that, I mean, that's just one little thing. Going to the grocery store, and it's like, what? I can't even go get fruits and vegetables without worrying about if it's, it's just crazy. Um, the government don't love us. Uh, just with the way everything is, man. And I've been on this shit for years, and the last few years I've noticed that other people have got on it a lot more, um, with the way it is. It's like, I don't know. First of all, these days, men aren't really men. Men have vaginas.
I think a lot of people could agree with you on that, man. I think we live in a society nowadays where um people have just grown way too fucking sensitive when it comes to a lot of shit. And I think it's kind of demeaning in a lot of ways. And society, I believe, will either rule those people out or embrace it and turn into this fucked up society that's going on nowadays. But yeah, man. So I've known you since I was about 16 years old, right? I think you were about the same age. Maybe you're a little bit older than I am. So if I was probably about 15, 16, you were about 16, 17. When I first met you, you were going to the Marines. You had went through boot camp and all that, and I remember you expressing the fact that you know you were really just in a fucked up place, and you were just trying to make it out in any kind of way that you can. And to see where we both came from and all the shit that we went through together, and on our solo acts, you feel me, is just completely fucking amazing. You're doing your fucking thing. I have to salute you on that. So tell us a little bit about your journey, man, and what led you to becoming the man that you are today.
Uh, I gotta focus on that exact question and not go off of it. The journey to get me where I am today, it started with drugs. Really, it's crazy,
Yeah.
but it started with drugs. Um, I had to like,
Most of our stories, I don't mean to cut you off, but most people's stories, especially the ones that have that like whole happy ending, not really happy ending, but the ones that lead up to success, they always start from like a really dark place. And I feel like those are the toughest people because they're the ones that made it out.
what's crazy is, so like, you'll call me Mr. Survival Man, and the thing is though, it's like, just with, I don't know shit really, like in the grand scheme of things. That's what's crazy is like, as much as other people think I know because of the lack of knowledge that's even out there, it's like I don't know shit. Like compared to a real survivor, man, it's like, I just don't know shit. But that's how bad everything has gotten, is that people don't even have like basic skills for anything anymore. Producing food, fucking nothing, And I think a lot of that stems from ease of living. Like, even the crazy fucked up shit that goes on. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I don't know, something that takes time that you wouldn't have if you were out being a productive member of society. Like, any stupid shit that you could think of. I don't know, Aaron. I don't know. I'm not built for it though. That's for sure. I'm not built for it. I'm not built for it. It started with drugs, and I had to I had to knock myself down, from where I thought that I was at 18, which most people think they are at 18. I had to knock myself way down. And it's crazy, but the first time that I felt God or Jesus or whatever you want to call it in my life was on drugs, you know, and it was telling me you need to stop. That's what it was telling me, but it was in a way that it wasn't coming from my subconscious. It was coming from outside of me, you know.
Yeah, man. I've heard a lot of testimonials to people that have been in that position that see certain shit like that, and it's crazy because I like to say that there's two people in life. There's people that follow that cycle, and there's people that see that cycle and choose to fucking live above that. And I like to think that you out of a lot of people that I know, whether or not you did fall into that cycle for a little bit, you realize that that wasn't the life that you wanted to live, man. And you brought yourself above that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. So like I was saying earlier, man, I've known you since I was about 16 years old, and we've been through a lot of crazy shit together, Frank. I don't I I had to stop and think about it the other day about how much crazy shit that we actually went through together, how many crazy stories we got, and all the bullshit, man. Um, so why don't you give us a little story, man? We'll do a little story time right now. Why don't you tell everybody, some of the crazy shit, that we have done, or we went through when we were younger, man.
Man, we were dumb. We're still a
Yeah,
little
we
bit
were.
act like I'm some fucking smart guy now, but man, I was really dumb, you know. And we
We
talked
both were.
last time we talked to. It's like every 5 years you'll be like, damn, I didn't know shit. Now I feel like I kind of got a grasp on things, you know. But then 5 years later, you're like, damn, I still didn't understand none of it, none of it. And you know it's gonna happen until we die.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
some there's some people that just get it easier than others, and I'm envious of that. You know, just get life easier than others. Fuck, what story? What's like the first story? What's like the first crazy thing that ever happened?
Oh, with me and you, I mean, the first story that really pops into mind, which really wasn't really that fucking crazy, was the first time that me and you did mushrooms together. But that that wasn't really a story, other than the fact that Mr. Frank White over here fucking running around like everybody's working for the man.
Hey, do I have to have this vertically up and down the phone?
Nah.
I could turn it sideways. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. About that. Sorry about that.
Um. I Nah, man, you're good. So I think I think the craziest story that we ever been through was the night that we were with Megalito. Um, you like to say that it was one of the craziest nights of your entire life, not just with us together, and I second that. Not just me and you kicking it, but
Top five craziest for sure.
top five. Yeah.
Yep.
All
I
right. So why don't you give a little sneak peek into that night that was just the fucking craziest?
you know I'm not gonna. I almost said his name. Does he use drugs at this point? Do you know?
No,
No. Um. Well,
you could say Miguel. It's fine.
huh?
You could say his name, Miguel. That's fine.
Time I said a name and you said we're not saying no names, so I don't want to say any names. Remember? I fucked up.
Uh, no, I do not.
Edit that out. Uh. I was definitely using drugs. We were all drinking. We had been drinking probably since fucking noon or some shit, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's
Yep.
like what time was it at when he picked us up? It was probably about 10 o'clock or some shit, 9, 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you don't remember, but we started it off. The craziness started off. It was somebody that you had issues with. that was on the border of Union City and Hayward. And we went by their house, and he said, "Oh, that's their house right there. Right now, they're inside eating dinner." And we threw like a rock or a brick or some shit at the house, and we just drove away. That was it. As we're
Yeah, that
driving,
is one part of the night. That is one part of the day that I do not fucking remember at all.
that's a trip. Like I don't think I made that up. You know, maybe I was fucked up. You know, I was fucked up, but I don't think I made that up. I'm pretty sure
Nah,
that
that sounds like some dumb shit that we would have done.
So drinking, doing drugs, smoking weed. I'm not gonna act like a weed has a influence into the negativity that we were doing. You know, I'm not gonna put it like that. But smoking weed, drinking, doing drugs. I don't know if you were popping e pills, whatever. I was smoking dope, popping e pills, just anything, you know.
Yeah,
And we're around. We had a fifth of something. What was it?
I want to say Hennessy, but at the same time, we were always drinking Bacardi at the time. I don't know why.
That's probably what it was, Bacardi. So we had a fifth of Bacardi in there. Miguel had a bunch of weed. I had some dope on me. Um, we throw a brick or a rock at this guy's house. We drive off, and 2 miles later, we're going down Dyer uh, towards Whipple. And Miguel, I don't know if it was because of his driving or the other guy's driving, but they both started getting mad and talking shit to each other. Him and the other driver of this car. Pull over, fuck you, pull over. So we pull into the Walmart parking lot, and Miguel's running his mouth, and me and you weren't saying too much. And out of the smallest little hatchback popped four big ass black dudes. You know, just like to me is like a cartoon. That there's a cartoon I can't think of where it's like all kind of people come out of like one little thing, like one little structure. Um, so Miguel is just talking shit. And even if these guys didn't have a gun, which they did, we would have still probably got beat up. You know, we weren't gonna.
Yeah,
Us three, we were kids. Those were grown men. We weren't. You know what I mean? So even if they didn't have the gun, Miguel shouldn't have been running his mouth. But Miguel was drunk and he doesn't give a fuck. So did he use the N word?
nah.
No.
I know Miguel. He does say a lot of fucked up stuff, but he doesn't get racial like that.
Um. So Miguel's running his mouth. Fuck you to the Jews. Fuck you. You're not gonna do shit. And this dude pulled out a big chrome gun. You know, and that's the main thing I remember about it. I wish I could remember the make and model because I know so much about guns now. If I saw it again, I would know. But I just remember it was chrome. You know, and everything kind of slowed down a little bit. You know, it was like
Yeah, dude.
how we were doing things had to change right then, or it could have gotten out of hand. You know, so we were basically telling that dude like, Miguel's talking shit to him. This dude just ups, puts it right at his, you know what I mean, just ups it. Miguel's still talking shit. Fuck you, you're not gonna do shit with a big ass chrome gun in your face. Uh, Me and you are just trying to like diffuse it right away, and we were telling that dude like, you don't need to do this, you know. And I think we were saying it. How we were saying it was the most sincere way we could have said it. Like, we really don't need to do this, man. You know, it didn't need to be. What?
Bro, we're in the middle of the fucking Walmart parking lot. Fucking cameras everywhere. Police fucking pretty much surrounded the fucking place.
It was still open 24 hours, so there was definitely more
Yeah,
people. You know they
yeah, fucking.
You know they're not open 24 hours no more. None of them in the whole United
Oh,
States.
I know. We were me and my baby mama were sleeping in the fucking Walmart parking lot when they actually switched that shit.
Oh, sometimes at like 3 in the morning, just out
Yeah.
of habit. God damn it. So
But yeah, no, I remember fucking I think somebody cut somebody off.
that's what it was.
And I don't know if it was Miguel or if it was the other dudes, but like I think you put it a little gingerly because I think we were all talking shit at that point. We were all on one and fucking,
I don't think me and you
you
were talking
know,
though.
not as much as Miguel. I will fucking say that. But I do remember when we fucking had pulled over, all three of us were really ready. Regardless of if we were gonna get our ass beat or not. I feel like all three of us were ready. But when we saw the driver pull out that fucking big ass from from what memory serves, like I want to say it was like a 45 or something because it was fucking big, bro.
It was like
Um,
a or some shit.
it might have been a Desert Eagle, but I remember when he had pulled that out, like you said, like shit slowed down a whole lot, and we was just kind of like, all right, it ain't that serious. Um, so I remember both me and you. I remember grabbing Miguel because that's my OG. I've known him since I was like 5 years old. I remember grabbing him and pushing him back, like, bruh, like, shut the fuck up. Like, he's got a gun pointed at you, and he's over here like, shoot me, bruh, shoot me, bruh. And I remember you walking up to dude like, hey, yo, it really ain't that
I
serious.
hand on his arm to like really
Yeah,
let on the arm that had the gun up. I put my hand on that arm and I just pushed down a tiny bit. It doesn't.
yeah. It really did not need to go that fucking far. And I remember, you feel me, them
I'm gonna
just being like, all right, well then grab your homie then.
before we keep going with that. I'm gonna tie that into another reason I moved is because that shit it doesn't exist in most other places. It exists in inner city shit, you know.
Yeah.
But back to the night though. So I don't even remember the last words that were said. It was just like, okay, they knew that they were either gonna fuck us up or you know what I mean. Like it was not gonna be no fucking fight. We're not about to fight y'all. Um, we all get in our cars, we drive away, and we're going down to Calaroga towards Tennyson, and we're at that 76, and we pull up to the light, and we're all like bumping our heads listening to music. I don't remember what song it was. We're all bumping our heads listening to music, and to the right in the lane that was going straight was the fucking I don't even remember what the car was. I think it was a
It was
newer.
like it was a black SUV.
I think it was a Tahoe. So
Yeah.
Tahoe on the side of us, and the dudes had sunglasses on, and all I looked down a little bit. First, I thought the sunglasses were weird as fuck, but then I looked down and I saw the star, the half of it. I didn't see the whole star. I just saw the top, a little spoke and another one. I was like, oh shit. And at that same exact time, light turned green. They got behind us instantly, pulled us over, lit us up, tried to pull us over. So Miguel is contemplating running away in a 98 Suburban, like one of the big ones. Like it's from I think that's the one that had an 8 mile. But a 93 Suburban, fucking big ass, heavy ass SUV, and he's going like 2 to 5 miles an hour, all the way from Calaroga to Weeks. And in that time, another 10 cop cars had got behind us. Right when I said that, I saw a cop car in front of me right here. That's hella funny. And in that time, another 10 cop cars that got behind us. And he decided to pull over, hit the left on Weeks in front of the library. And they are coming from every direction. They're in every diagonal way, straight behind us. And there was probably about like 6 red dots on the vehicle.
Yeah. At least.
Go ahead, because the rest of it to me is like you know what I mean? They
First, first of all, let me say that you suck at storytelling.
whatever. You're supposed to tell the story. Hey, I didn't
All
sign on
right.
the story. I was just gonna fucking chime in.
All right. So it all happened when we were coming from, like, if anybody knows Hayward, we were coming from the mall, right? Southland Mall. We were driving down Calaroga about to make a left on the Tennyson right in front of that 76. And we pull up about to make a left. Another car pulls up next to us, another SUV, and I'm in the back passenger seat, right behind Frank. Frank is in the passenger seat, Miguel is driving, and I had looked over to my right, and you see a couple of white people in the in the front of the SUV next to us, and they're wearing sunglasses. Mind you, it is like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning at this point. Why are they wearing sunglasses? So my first reaction is to look at Miguel and be like, "Cops!" And right when I say that,
even
the light had turned green.
even if they were, what is that a thing that cops do? Is wear sunglasses at night? I don't understand it. Like, why the fuck?
I don't know. I don't know, but I just knew they were. I mean, come on, two white people wearing fucking sunglasses at 3 o'clock in the morning in Hayward. Like, I mean, it's yeah. But anyways, so right as I had said cops, the light had turned green, and I don't know if Miguel's foot slipped off of the gas or if he was just trying to boss up on somebody, but he kind of like gas brake dipped a little bit when he had made that left on the Tennyson. Right when he did that was like the same time I was like, cops, and all three happened simultaneously. So it was him gas brake dipping, me saying cops, and the cops just getting behind us. All three happened like at the same time, and they lit us up. And Frank is not wrong. He was going like 3 to 5 miles per hour, looking at Frank, looking at me, looking at Frank, looking at me the whole time, saying, "Should I run? Should I run? Should I run?" And we're both like, nah, bro, we ain't getting away. We're going over the overpass. So he still,
It was the truck. That was the reason we weren't getting away. Is that big ass, heavy ass, slow ass truck? Fuck, you're getting
even if
tight.
we were in like, hey, blood, even if we were in a race car at that point, bro, where were we gonna go? Hop on the freeway?
Would have had a chance. God damn it. No, but
I
we didn't even.
guess.
Oh, you know.
Yeah. But so he winds up making that left by on Weeks, and then right in front of the fucking library, we already at this point we had like 5 cop cars behind us. And then if y'all know anything about Hayward, right there by Weeks, there's another fucking street that comes up besides Weeks. We had a couple of cop cars coming straight at us from Weeks. We had a couple of cop cars coming straight down that fucking other road that basically blocked us all in and surrounded us right in front of Weeks Park, man, right in front of the fucking library. And he finally stops the car. Um, Mind you, we're all fucking drunk as fuck. Uh, Frank's on one, I'm on one, Miguel's on one. We're all doing our own little thing. I think I was on AE pills that night. I think Frank was doing,
I was doing dope.
I don't know.
And that's
Okay.
days at this point. This night
How many days were you up?
at this point that night, the night that all that happened, 12 days. So the night
12?
it happened, it was 12 days. Yeah,
Jesus. So,
serious and delusional in that sense.
yeah,
Not even just the
I
drugs and alcohol.
know, I know Miguel had, like, like a quarter ounce of fucking coke in the back of his Alpine speaker, like everybody used to do back in the day. So I was on e pills. He was on dope. He fucking Miguel was all coked up, but we were all drunk and smoking hella weed at the time. And so he finally pulls over in front of Weeks, and I'll never forget. Fucking they made Miguel get out the car first, obviously. The whole put your hands up, walk backwards, put your face on the cement, all the shit. I'll never fucking forget the cops on over the loudspeaker go, rear passenger, slowly put your hands down and take your seatbelt off. So, that's me. I put my hands down to go grab the seatbelt. Frank's dumbass thinks that they said passenger, So he puts his hands down. No, they didn't.
They just said rear passenger first. But they said passenger.
Yeah. No. Anyways, Frank puts his hands down like he's about to hop out the car to, just kick it. Like
quick. Way too quick.
Yeah. Way too quick. He's acting like, he's about to go just hop out and just say what's up to everybody. He's about, hey, what's up? But he puts his hands down, and a female officer that was right at the passenger window comes up, runs up to Frank, and basically pistol whips him with the nose of the gun. Put your fucking hands up! Why the fuck? Why would you do that? And Frank's just like, I thought y'all were talking to me. And I put my hands up. I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. He was more upset at the fact that she almost shot me than anything else. She was like that. And when I moved like that, like I'm lucky she didn't. I'm lucky she didn't.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, you should have been shot. We actually all three of us should have been shot a couple times that night.
Yeah, at Walmart. Yeah.
Yeah. So finally, after, the female cop says all that to Frank and everything, Frank, has his hands up, and he was just like, my bad, like I thought y'all were talking to me, this and that. We follow suit, they did the same thing with us that they did in Miguel, the whole hop out the car slowly, walk backwards, get on the ground, handcuff us, put us in the back of the cop car. I remember Miguel actually going to jail that night, only for a DUI though. Or he didn't even go for a DUI. He went for what did he go for? I know he went to the drunk tank.
Was it DUI?
No, because he didn't get a DUI on his record for that. He only went to the drunk tank, and after that he was cool. His truck got impounded though.
Took him to get drunk tank.
Right. So and I remember I remember them putting me and Frank in the same cop car in the back. And they basically just drove us home. And me and Frank were kind of like, what? But the funniest part, at least to me, about that whole fucking night is when we had finally got to the house. Because me and Frank were living together at the same time. And they told us that they were just gonna drive me and Frank home. So we pull up to the house that we were staying at the time, and when we pulled onto the block, they passed the house, and the cop looks at the back at me and Frank and goes, "All right, what house is it?" And my dumb ass goes, bro, you passed it. It's back there."
Like 15 feet behind us.
Yeah, it ain't even that far. And the cop just looks at us like hella sideways. It was just like he didn't even say nothing at this point. He puts it in reverse and he starts backing up.
15 feet too far.
Yeah, he goes 15 feet too far backwards, and he's like, "All right, what house is it?" And Frank's dumbass, "It's up there. You missed it."
Hey, that's exactly how it was supposed to end. Just with that, exactly how.
Nah, but what the funniest part about it is that happened like 3 more fucking times, bro. Like me and Frank both kept going. Like I kept going, "Nah, bro, you missed it. It's back there." And Frank kept going, "Nah, it's up there."
I just remember a couple times. I don't remember all of it. I just remember like the first couple times.
Altogether, it happened. It happened like 4 or 5 times altogether.
No, so
Because at the very end of it, he put the car in park and was just like, "Just get the fuck out." Those were his exact words. He was like, "Get the fuck out."
then we went inside and we partied a little bit more. I think you might have just
Yeah.
smoked weed. I'm not sure if you were
Oh
drinking
yeah.
too, but I tried to do
No.
right. So this is after I've been up for 12 days. This night happens. tried to do some more drugs. That girl, you said it was Sandy, but it wasn't Sandy. Other chick, some girl that Wendy had known. I seen somebody. That was the first time I saw somebody shoot up, and it was in your room. Remember that?
It was Sandy, I'm telling you.
I know. I remember Sandy. I remember Sandy clearly. Ever. That's
Yeah, I don't
irrelevant.
know.
So it was the first time I saw somebody shoot up, and she had an orgasm from shooting up. You know, in your room. Yeah, it was like in your room. But I was like, that was such a trip to me. You know, that was such a trip. So I had been up for that long, tried to do some more drugs, seen her shoot up, have an orgasm just from shooting up, and I was just like, oh, this is too much. And I went outside on the porch and I sat down to smoke a cigarette. And I didn't get up, bro, for probably 36 hours. Your auntie had put a blanket on me. She just threw a blanket. I had been in that chair. You know, there's the two chairs right out there. And I'd been
Yeah.
sitting and fucking 36 hours, like a whole day. I had asked what day it was or what time it was, whatever the fuck. A whole day had gone by. So I didn't wake up till 2 days later. Fucking crazy, dude. Fried my brain, Aaron. I said it in the last one. I should say it again as a public service announcement. Don't do drugs, man. Don't do drugs.
Don't. Yeah,
Don't.
no, don't do all that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like those crazy nights and all the dumb shit that we used to do and all the shit, it really did make us who we are today. But at the same time, like we could have learned those lessons without all that.
It
We should have.
not only did it make us who we are, but it introduced us to each other and the other people that are in our life. Because if we weren't doing things the way that we were, like if I wasn't doing drugs in any sort of way, I wouldn't have met you. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like that's why. So when I met you, I was leaving the Marines, but that's because mom was kicking me out because I was a dumbass. You know, I was fucking up in every single way you can imagine. I was stealing from Noelle. I was stealing from her. I was fucking not going to school, getting her in trouble with the police because the shit that I was doing, fucking shooting out neighbors' light bulbs on porches with BB guns, just just stupid shit.
Yeah,
So
no, and I remember you telling me like that you really did not want to go. It was just basically your only option.
and if I would have went, I mean, I would have met you, but we would have not gotten as close. You know, it would have just been the first couple times we met, and that's it. I wouldn't have met Christiana, which wouldn't have introduced me to Phoebe. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah,
that's exactly how it's supposed to happen. And everything is
yeah,
like
man.
that. Everything is like that. In hindsight, it's like that was exactly how it's supposed to happen. You know?
And it's times like that that really make me stop and think like, damn, like everything does really happen for a reason because, so much shit had to happen in your life and in my life for us to like cross paths in the first place, let alone get as cool as we are. Um, and I could attribute that to a lot of situations in life that I've been through. You know what I mean? That it's just like holy shit. Like there has to be a God or some kind of higher power, to make everything fall into place like how it did.
It's too complex for there not to be. You know? It's too complex. It's too perfect. It's too perfect.
Exactly.
Take
Exactly.
and we take advantage of it, and that's another reason. So I told you the reason why I'm living the way I am is for a million reasons. You could look around and pick anything. It's that too. You know?
Oh man. And like I had said on the intro of this podcast, man, that everything in life it kind of it kind of comes together into mental health, and which was supposed to be the main aspect of this channel was to, checking in with everybody's well-being and giving advice and stuff like that. And um whether you think we're doing that or not, I mean, like I said, not only does it all intersect and come together as mental health, but maybe you can find some solace into, you know, the stories that we tell, or stuff that we have been through, or stuff that we're still going through. I know both myself and Frank alike, you know, we're still going through the trials and tribulations that we call life, you know, and it definitely weighs on you, you know. But if you could find one thing out of this podcast, if you could, you know, relate to one story, if you could even laugh about some stuff that me or him has been through, you know, then we have basically done our job. That's what this is about.
You could be grateful you're not as dumb as us, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah, no, because we definitely have done some dumb shit. You know?
Right?
Whether you relate to what we've been through, whether you know, look at us and be like, damn, they're fucking stupid. I got it better than them, you know, or even if we just make you laugh at some dumb shit, you know, then we did our job. You know, if we can help one person or make one person laugh with this whole fucking podcast, you know, that is my goal.
To be honest with you, Aaron, I don't have a goal. I don't have a dog in the fight. I just want you to win, though. I want you to win. I
And
think,
that is why Frank is lying, everybody, because he does have a dog in this fight, because he does want me to win. And that's regardless of what everybody's opinions and voices are about the subject. Frank, um, he's one of the realest and the most biggest hearted people I've ever met in my life. Um, he may not share the same views and opinions as a lot of other people, but when it all comes down to it, he does want to see everybody win. He wants to see everybody come out on top. And I think that's what makes Frank great in this, you know, in this world, man. I think a lot of people need to, you know, be like him in that sense.
I I'm very grateful that you said that, but I don't view it the same way. I do like I don't know. I'm not all that great. I'm an average guy, you know. The world is just shitty. That's all.
But that's what makes you great, though, is that, you know, you do have that heart and you do have that respect for other people that do shit for themselves. You feel me? Not everybody has that shit. You know, most people just don't really give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, I would like to call this a part one out of everything, because, you know, the stories that not only you and I have together, but you and I have on our solo adventures, man. Fucking.
We're keeping it going, mother. This isn't over.
All right, man. Y'all heard Frank White, man. We gonna keep this shit going. What else do you want to tell the people, man? I mean, but you gotta save some content.
What do you want to tell the people, Aaron?
That no matter what happens in life, you feel me? No matter what you're going through, no matter how hard it gets, you know, or what stupid shit that you've done, you know, you could always come out, you feel me, ahead. Um, there's a quote in one of my favorite songs that, you know, you could drag us through the mud, but we'll still come out clean.
What song is
You
that?
know, it's I Am Sue song. You know, it's I'm very into Bay Area music and all that. You know, and it always resonated with me because of everything that we have done and everything that we've been through. And no matter what we've done, no matter what mud we get dragged through, you feel me? Like, we still come out the other side crystal fucking clean. And I'm, you know, if you know me, then I'm not the biggest religious person in the world. I don't necessarily believe in religion. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And I do believe that No matter how much bullshit and everything that we've been through, feel me, the fact that we come out clean on the other side and come out untouched or unscathed by it, it builds us into the people that we are today. It makes us stronger in a way that we can't even fucking comprehend ourselves.
It's basically like a second and a third chance, and we still live our lives like depressed or fucking feeling like we're in lack or we don't have this or whatever the fuck, you know? Shit
Yeah,
is I don't know, man. I don't know.
bonkers. That's one of the reasons why I respect you so much, man, is because I see you out there, living off the grid, living with no running water, living with no electricity, and I look at my life, and I mean, let's keep it 100. Everybody goes through their own problems and shit, but I look at a lot of the shit that I go through, and I'm just like, bro, like a lot of people have it a lot worse. Even people that I fucking care about, even people that I think of as blood. Like you, Frank. Fucking, you're out there living with no fucking electricity and water.
Not even
You
a
know,
lot worse, Aaron. Most people have it worse. We're in probably the top 5% of how lifestyle in the world, you know? Everyone's just getting by everywhere else. We have you could literally be anything you want to be here, anything that you can imagine, and be that. And it's not like that everywhere in the world.
but I'll be honest when it comes to that. When it comes to that, me and you, we had no business being these people. We grew up with nothing. We grew up with basically no chances. We had to make our own way. I get it. Like I know, like it's America, and everybody has like a fair opportunity. I really don't see that we did, bro. Like we grew up in such shitty fucking neighborhoods and shitty fucking environments that we are kind of the exception when it comes to everybody else. I mean, look at everybody else we grew up with, bro. There's not too many people doing good things.
Barely anybody. Barely anybody. I go back to any single neighborhood that I lived in, and everyone's doing the exact same thing. You know, Brett's hanging
And
out
that's one
on
of
the
the
hill with his
reasons.
garage,
Yeah.
smoking pot. I
Oh,
mean,
that's
but it's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I can't really say nothing about Brett. He 2 kids, I think, maybe even, and he's taking care of them. So, I mean, smoke your fucking pot. I don't give a fuck. But I mean, just the same people coming up. Everyone stayed in the same area. Nobody like, you know, I don't know. Maybe
right.
instead of the what's it called when you work the store the floor what's it called? Whatever. He went from that to the manager at Fry's now. So at least a little bit of stuff. But it's like everyone's doing the same shit. You know, we talked
And
about it
that's
last
one
time.
of the reasons why I can't even. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't even like to go to Hayward, my fucking hometown. The shit that I got tatted on me is
That was
because
that was crazy when you went over there last week and made that video. Trip.
yeah, man. Just to see like everybody doing the same shit, fucking not growing as a person, and whether it be still living at home with their mom or working the same job, or not even working, just fucking on one, just fucking doing the same fucking shit, dude. Going back to auntie and grandma's house, dude. Fucking, there was trash. Literally, the room that me and Frank used to stay in, there was literally trash all the way from the floor to the top of the ceiling. There's probably like a 2 foot gap from the ceiling to where all the garbage was. Um, which if you guys follow me, y'all saw it on my stories. It's fucking crazy.
It's crazy and it's I wonder why when she was gonna go to the nursing home she didn't try to call somebody, or I don't know.
She didn't even have a phone. They didn't even have a house phone or anything. It's
Well,
sad, bro. She didn't have anybody to call. I mean, I went over there hella times and gave her my number, but there was also so many times where I've tried to help and I reached out my hand, but she didn't want to take it. So I mean, there's only so much that I could do. You know what I mean?
Your grandma is crazy. She's a nut. Grandma,
87 years old, still putting meth in her Pepsi.
she is hella funny, dude. She's a sweetheart, but she's hella funny. She don't give a
Oh, yeah.
fuck. Don't give a fuck.
She's
You know
straight from Chicago, bruh. I mean, what could you expect?
how that.
Yeah,
That's,
man. Fucking yeah, that's a whole nother story in itself that y'all probably gonna catch on later episodes of this podcast. All the shit going on with my fucking family, I mean, ain't too big of a fucking story. Mostly everybody's dead. but but yeah, fucking I mean, just to see how far that we came from, all the shit that we came from and how far we made it. Um,
I,
we were
I
never supposed to be here.
I had a lot of help, bro. I had a lot of help. You know, I wouldn't have been able to do it on my own. Who are you waving to?
So I'm
Yourself?
saying me, I helped.
Oh, exactly, exactly. So I'm saying, like, I had a lot of help. Like, it's not like, you know, I'm where I'm at, and it's like I did it all on my own. I had a lot of help.
Nah, I didn't mean it. I mean, I did mean it like that as a joke, but I didn't honestly like you. It was a two-way street. You feel me? Because I remember fucking going through so much fucking bullshit when I had first met you that you helped me through so much fucking hard times that I wasn't thinking about helping you really. I mean, I was, like
I was,
me, I have a good heart.
and I do too. But I wasn't thinking about helping you either, and I don't fully understand how I did. Except be your homie.
I get that, but there was a lot of fucking times where you were there for me and nobody else was, and I needed that at the time. And I mean I like to think that we were both in the same plate. Like we both weren't really trying to help each other out, but at the same time we helped each other out in ways that we both can understand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean that like I keep saying, all this ties back into the whole mental health thing. Find you somebody that's always gonna be there for you no matter what. If you're like me and you don't have blood family like that, you create those bonds with people like how I created with Frank. Frank may not be my blood, but I've never had anybody in my life closer to me than as a brother than how he is. I know for a fact if I ever needed him and I called him, or if my son ever needed him and called him, I know he'd be right there in a fucking instant. Um, and I encourage everybody to, regardless of what mindset you're in, what, bad space or bad shit that you're going through, I encourage everybody to find those people in your life and hang on to them. Obviously, there's
You're
going
not
to be trials and tribulations.
not gonna get that many of them. There's only a few. You get
Yeah.
maybe a handful throughout your life, and those people, right? This is how I base the people that I consider even in my circle or close to being in there or family. Will you die for me? That's it. Nothing else. Will you die for me? You know. And if I don't feel like you would, then I'm just not fucking with you. You know. That's where I'm at. And I don't do nothing with my time, bro. It's like I'm trying to really let me think about how many friends I have. You're my. I got a couple other brothers. The guy you met in Oregon House when we came back from snowboarding, that's a brother. Ricky, the guy I've worked with since I started this job, that's a brother. I got three brothers and maybe three homegirls that are the same closeness. but I liked them, so I could never consider them family. At one point, I liked them. That's, I mean, you could meet people when you're older and still build bonds, I guess, you know? But it's like the real ones from the time you grew up, or the people, if we're friends now, right? What the fuck would it take for us not to be friends? You know what I mean? From the time that we're 17, 16 to 32, you know? I
Yeah,
don't, I can meet somebody else right now that's my same age, 32 years old, and build that same bond that we have. Maybe,
right.
maybe, maybe I'm not open
I
to it.
mean, you never know, but I mean, at the same time, like one of the points that I was getting at is that when you find those people, hold on to them regardless of because there's gonna be trials and tribulations that you guys go through. I mean, me and Frank have been through a lot.
Not,
Um,
yeah. No, you're right, but not really. It hasn't been that much. You know what I mean? Like a few things, few things.
you can't tell me there hasn't been a couple of times where you wanted to fucking beat the shit out of me.
Brothers do that. Brothers fight each other.
And that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Regardless of shit that we've been through, you with the real ones, you gotta look past certain shit. There was times where I came home and I didn't have my money or I didn't have my weed. Nah,
If we would have ever fought, I wouldn't have loved you any less. You know?
I feel the same way. Um, if anything, I would say that there was probably a couple of times where we should have fought just to get it out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But regardless, like I was saying, like hold on to those bonds. They're regardless of how alone you feel in life, there's somebody out there that will fight for you. There's somebody out there that will talk with you and have your back like that to the fullest. And I never thought that was possible. I've been on my own since I was about 12 years old. I had no fucking family. And they were all fucking drug addicts and all the shit. And or even if you grew up in a good fucking family and you do have those bonds but you just don't connect with them like that and you still feel like an outcast, like don't give up. That's one thing that I do want to get across. Do not give up. There's people out there that feel the same way that you do. There's people out there that will have your back. And if you don't believe that, hit us up. Well, maybe not Frank. Frank is kind of a
If there's issues to talk, and I'll talk about issues with anybody. You know, I'll talk about issues with the dude at the gas station that I just gave 50 cents or a dollar or whatever the fuck. You know, like I get that just reminds me of random shit. There was a homeless lady in front of 7-Eleven on Carter in Hayward, and she was in a wheelchair, and her legs were like super swollen. And she asked me when I was walking by, "Hey, can you spare a dollar?" I was like, "Sure." Give her a dollar, and she's like, "Can you buy me something?" I was like, "Yeah, what do you want?" And she like gave me a big old list of shit, ended up being like $12. Like these three of these bags of chips, two 24-ounce steel reserves, one little thing of wine, some other shit. Like damn, like I was thinking maybe like a single beer or something, but all right. So I got it for her, and I came out, and she just starts like explaining to me her life situation, and all kind of shit had happened. Her husband had cheated on her, and she was gonna try to work it out with him, and then he died. And then she got some infection from diabetes in her legs, and she lost the ability to walk. And all this shit culminated. They cut off her money at the same time, just all this shit, and she ended up being out there sitting in this wheelchair at 2 o'clock in the morning in front of 7-Eleven. And I ended up talking to this lady, gave her the bag of stuff, ended up talking with her probably like 45 minutes. And she, at the end of the conversation, uh, I have to say one more thing after this too. Remind me of this other conversation. At the end of the conversation, she was like crying, and she was like, "Can I have a hug?" I was like, "Yeah, of course you can have a hug." And it almost made me want to cry too. Talk about I don't have empathy, motherfucker. So um, I but it sticks out to me, like that conversation. It was just one time I met her, you know what I mean? Probably when I was 21 or some shit, and never seen her again. But I'll always remember that, you know, just because of it was real, you know. This other time, this is like probably I was 20. It was right before I moved to Ukiah, 23, 24. Um, I had been acting like a hothead still, involved in all kinds of shit. Um, and I had been ready to a couple different at the time. Like just I was ready for it, you know. That was how my thought process was going, is like, if it happens, it happens. So I ran into this guy, this black guy, and he was getting gas, and it's 3 a.m. I was getting a pack of cigarettes at the Shell on Whipple or on Dyer, and he was super sad, and he was standing behind me in line, and he just said, like, he started telling me random shit. When you see your loved ones, hug them, tell them you love them, this and that, this and that. And then after he told me, I don't remember the other random things. I wish I did. And he said, um, my son got killed a couple days ago. We just came back from the funeral right now. I just wanted to tell you that, you know? And it was just like, and he yelled something to his wife. She was at the pump where the car was. He was at the window with me. He yelled something, baby, something about their son. And she was, you could tell she had been crying all day. Her face was all swollen. She's like, yeah, whatever. Again, maybe a 5 or 10 minute conversation, gave the dude a hug. And it's like, I'll always remember that, you know? It just stuck out with me so much. Like, I was thinking the way I was thinking. And then I happened to run into this dude and say his son was being a hothead, and that's what got him killed, you know? So it just made me think. It just made me think. How did I even
Ah,
get
man.
talking about that, though? Like, what were we
We were
talking
just
about?
talking about past experiences and stuff, but that actually reminds me of a fucking story that first of all, before I tell the story, the reason why I'm gonna tell this story is because you never know what somebody else is going through. And bonds like Frank was just talking about could happen in a fucking split second without you even knowing it. And I'll give this example. When I was first going to get my Class A license, when I had first,
So what is
signed up to be.
what do you do? Class A
I'm sorry.
license. Class A license. What do you do?
I am a 18 wheeler truck driver, so I drive the big things. You know what I mean? I work for a company right now that delivers flooring and all kinds of crazy shit. So that's actually what I do. I talked about that a little bit in my intro. Um, but
Uh,
when I was first studying to get my license, they had drove us out to Fontana out there in the Inland Empire, like kind of by LA and all that. And when I had first signed up, I remember them asking me like, "Oh, do you want to do team driving or do you want to be solo?" And I told them straight up, like, "I'm not here to make friends. You know what I mean? I'm here to make money." Um, Never in my life would I thought that the people that I would be going to school with, we would, have bonds. But um, the stories that Frank just told, those quick little moments that you never would think that, would turn into something. Um, I remember there was this younger kid that we were going to school with. His name was Mike. He goes by Mike Sav. Y'all need to check him out. He is actually a fire ass rapper. And he would always like freestyle and everything, when we were in school and everything. Hey, he man, he's a goer, I'm telling y'all. But this was like before I even really knew him like that. Me, my friend Jonathan, and him at the time, we went to the gas station to get a couple of beers and some cigarettes, and the one of the people behind us in line had said something to him, and
Sorry.
I didn't I
I didn't know.
didn't really take it.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I
My
didn't
camera.
take it the best of way. So I didn't take it the best of ways. Um, he looked at him and said, "What are you doing here, boy?" Or something like that. This big old white dude talking to this black kid. I flipped the fuck out. Um, it was basically a whole big scene, but when it all came down to it, me, Mike Sav, and John were walking back to the motel that we were staying at, and I just remember him crying. And it wasn't because he was scared or anything like that. He's a bigger dude. Like he could handle himself. But it was just the fact that, like he didn't understand why that somebody hella out of nowhere would just treat him that way. You feel me?
This was how exactly.
And
It sounded kind of rude, but it didn't seem like anything beyond that to me.
it was definitely racial motivated.
What did he say? What are you doing here, boy?
Yeah.
How would that be? Like, how do you? I can't put two and two together.
It okay, it was the emphasis that he put on boy. Like you could just tell what he meant when he said it. You know what I mean?
He wasn't a boy though. How old was he?
Compared to the other dude, no. The other dude was only a couple years older.
Huh.
Like
Where?
the way that he said boy, like you could tell it was racially motivated.
I'd never heard.
It's Yeah, no, it's definitely a thing, bro. But anyways, like, you know, dude didn't want it because like right when that happened, like me and John walked up, and obviously I'm white, John's white too, and we had both walked up and was just like, "What's up, bruh?" And you could obviously tell like he didn't want no problems because he was kind of like starstruck at that point, like he was kind of like, "Oh," and you know he didn't want no problems after that, and you know we had walked back to the motel, and halfway there, he started crying, and we're just like, "What's good, bruh?" And he was just like, "Nah," like he was like, that shit was just so fucked up, like he was just like, it's happened to me, plenty of times before, but like he was like, I've never really been like confronted like that about my race and shit. And, to see that shit firsthand, it was just so fucked up. And, he was younger than I was, you know what I mean?
How,
And
how old were you? Sorry, you cut out.
I want to say I was like, so this was all like 7, 8 years ago, and I'm 31 now.
How old
So
were
I
you?
had to be like what, 34 or 24. He was like 22.
In my opinion, you should have been crying at that point. You should have been fighting. That's how you felt about it. You know?
Oh, he was. No, no, trust me, he was. Like I said, like this is no knock on him. He was about to fucking fight,
No,
but the
no,
dude didn't want it.
no words should be able to make. No words that one man says should be able to make another man cry.
It wasn't about that, bro. It really wasn't about that. Like trust me, like when it was all in the moment, like he was ready to get down. And so was me and John. Like we was both ready. We were all three of us, we was ready to get down and shit, but dude didn't want it. He bitched out. You feel me? And like, at that moment where somebody bitches out, you know, you kind of feel like a boss at that point. Like, yeah, bro, like you don't want it. You feel me? Because you know we're young ass kids at that point. You feel me? And you know, it wasn't until we were walking back to the motel, like we were like halfway back to the motel, and he just started crying out of nowhere. And he was just like, bro, like I'm sick of that shit. Like I'm just really sick of that shit. And it wasn't on no bitch shit. It wasn't like, you know, at that point he shouldn't be crying because, you know, there's certain shit that people go through in life that you never know what somebody's really fucking going through. And the fact that fucking it hit that shit, it hit that man deep down in his soul that hard. You feel me? Like if you were there, you would understand like how it affected him emotionally, mentally. You know, it's hard to explain without you being there, bro. But it was just one of those things that created a bond between me and him that he'll forever be my little homie. He'll forever be like, you feel me, like the one of the another person like you, somebody with the biggest fucking heart that just, you know, sometimes looks at the fucking world and just be like, man, what the fuck? You know, maybe you necessarily look at the world and be like, what the fuck, and look at it in a different what the fuck type of way. But there's other people out there that look at it as what the fuck in a whole nother type of way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know, like I said, like not everybody feels the same way. You know, when you say what the fuck and you think people are fucking crazy or insane and you laugh at shit like that, there might be some people just like you that say what the fuck, but you know, they get emotional about the shit.
I I was just saying that because I think that men should barely ever get in their emotions, and you know how I feel about it. But in saying that, I was raised by a mother around women. You know what I mean? So I was raised in my emotions. And I didn't realize until I was later, older in life, how bad that is for a man to be, how to live his life that way. You know, imagine, think about this. Like if you're in your emotions all the time and you cry to your girl every few days and she sees that, you know what's gonna happen, right? This guy is a bitch. That's what she'll say over time. You can maybe cry like when your parents die, when you know what I mean? There's some real shit going on, but it's like you can't just be crying and showing your emotions as a man. A woman could cry every few days, you'd be like, damn, this bitch is crazy, but it's like you'd probably still deal with her. A woman will fucking, her vagina will dry up and she's not gonna deal with you anymore if you're a man and you cry like that on the regular. Men should not be in their emotions. We should always think about shit first. Okay, first of all, you're probably right. I don't know nothing about the word boy. I think I have heard that before. You know what I mean? But is there an off chance that he was just a, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't in a racial way?
No.
And either way, at 22 years old, a, a grown man saying boy, even if he said it with some emphasis, shouldn't make another grown man cry. And we're grown men by the time they were 18, 19.
Were you really a grown man at 22, Frank?
22, no, no, no.
Yeah.
I'm a grown man. I'm still not a grown man, Aaron. I'm
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
I'm like,
So that goes back to the conversation that we were having earlier, off camera, about how, you know, I like to think you and I are kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. You know, I believe into feeling emotions, and you know, obviously you do too.
look,
I'm not saying that, but
you should always feel your emotions. If you didn't feel your emotions, you'd be like a psychopath, sociopath, or some shit. You know what I mean? You should always feel it, but you should process it with what's the word I'm looking for? You should process it with um calmness. You should process it with logic. You should process it with word I'm looking for. You should process those emotions from a different standpoint than how women process them, which is strictly emotional. you know? And if you weren't raised that way by a manly man, or if you didn't have a grandpa that instilled that shit's almost gone now, you know? And it took me, because like I said, I was raised by all women, around all women. It took me meeting a few of these men and being like, damn, when I think about what is a man, that's the guy I think of. You know what I mean? That's how rare it is. That's how rare it is.
And no, and I completely understand and I get it. And I'm not saying you're wrong in any kind of way, but like I said before, like this is the conversation that we were having off camera about how I feel like both you and I are on opposite ends of the spectrum, to where, you know, you believe in that whole manly man thing and I believe in, you know, emotional shit, you know, and I believe that I think we both could agree that there should be a balance, you know, and I feel like, you know, regardless if we're both opposite ends of the spectrum, we're still trying to come to that middle ground and find that balance. Um, but that is one thing that you and I are always going to disagree on, because I believe in, you know, those emotions, you know, really show us who we are. You feel me? I don't believe, like, I do believe in what you're saying. I do believe there is times, and most times, where men, we gotta be the manly man. You know, we gotta take charge. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. But I also do believe in, you know, not hindering our emotions.
I, I don't believe in hindering our emotions either. I just believe in processing them differently than women process them, which is strictly emotional. I believe in processing your emotions as a man with logic and stoicism, you know? And I mean, answer my question though. If you were a girl and your boyfriend came crying to you, baby, I can't pay the bills, baby this, baby that, crying, your vagina wouldn't dry up? That's all
I
I want.
can't answer that.
That's
I
all I
can't
want.
answer that. I'm not a female.
Think about it. My vagina would dry up for sure. This dude's crying again, like again for
I'm sure there's a lot of females out there that would feel that way. I'm sure there's a lot of females that wouldn't. I don't know. I can't speak for the female perspective, sir.
no matter what a female says. If she says, "Oh no, I like a guy that cries and shows his emotion," deep down, that's not how she really feels. Women don't know how to say exactly what they feel. Women go beat around the bush and talk in circles and try to say things that are socially acceptable. You know, if you say, "Nah, fuck him, he's a bitch," that's not socially acceptable. You know, but really deep down, that's how she feels when her vagina dried up. The second, I wish I would. And I cried in front of Phoebe probably like a few times before I really learned this shit, and I learned it. Again, I was raised around nothing but women. It's like I had to learn it myself. I had to go
So
look at.
you cried in front of me. Does that make you a female?
No, you can cry in front of your homeboys. You just can't cry in front of your girl. You that's who you cry in front of if you need to cry as a man. You cry in front of your homeboys. A woman can't help a man with a man's problems. A man's problems are unique to a man himself. You know what I mean? So it just doesn't work like that. You need help with your problems. You can get advice. You can get advice from a woman, you know, but understand that she's always going to be coming at it from a strictly emotional perspective and leaving logic out of it for the most part. This is not 100%. This is the rule though, not the exception. You know, a good 70% fails are like that, and a good 90 will say other than what they mean. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Who they with?
Hold
There,
that. Hold that thought.
I'll
You know why?
forget it. I'm gonna forget. I already forgot it.
We're gonna save all that for part two. I want to thank everybody for being here for the Speaking Truthfully podcast, okay, where that's exactly what we do. We speak our truths, we tell it exactly how it is, we have the conversations nobody wants to hear. I want to thank my guest right now, Frank White, aka Mr. Survival Man, aka Mr. Frank Don't Fuck for Free. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at, man?
You can find me on Instagram and YouTube at How We. On YouTube, it's all separate words. Instagram is just one solid thing. How we run it. How we run it. You know. Actually,
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I thought you wanted to say something else.
hey, shit. Good.
Anyways. And that's gonna do it for the first episode of Speaking Truthfully. Like I said, I would like to thank my guest, Mr. Frank White, for being here tonight. You can find him at How We Run It on all social media platforms. How We Run It.
First of
I
all,
want to wish everybody.
give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry, first of all, for cutting you off like 20 times. I didn't mean to do that. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. The second thing is I almost cut you off again when you said speaking your truth. You can always have, there's only one real truth. There's only one truth. The rest of it is how we perceive it and our subjective view on the truth. But the truth will always stay the same. You know, your subjective truth, you get what I'm saying? Look, this is all I'm saying, Aaron. That's the thing that women say, speak your truth. That's coming from a woman's perspective, strictly emotional. There is no your truth. There's only one truth, you know?
Again, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you for being here to the Speaking Truthfully podcast. I always encourage everybody to speak your truth, what you believe in, and your views and opinions aren't always going to be the views and opinions of everybody else. Everybody else's views and opinions don't also reflect everybody else's on this podcast. So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. You guys are amazing. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you leave them down there in the comment section. I promise you we will get back to them as soon as possible. And I just want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank my guest, Mr. Frank, for being here, aka Mr. Frank White, aka Mr. Frank Don't Fuck for Free.
Thank you, Aaron.
Everybody have a good night, and we'll holla at you when we holla at you.